What's up, guys? A little bit about the gameplay before I get into the topic. I know some of you guys are probably thinking, Jordan, you know we don't give a shit about the gameplay. I know, but I'm playing with subscribers here, playing Demolition, about to get this W. Got my blue arrows on the map, got my goons with me. And yeah, I call you guys goons behind the scenes. Like, it's just something weird that I say. And like, some guys freaked out when they saw the video. I uploaded a video called 10,000 Goons, and people were like, what the fuck? Goons? Is that what you call us? Yeah, and like, when people are talking shit to me on like Xbox and stuff, I'm like, dude, do you really want me to send my army of goons after you? And they're just like, no, not the goons. Don't send the goons. All right, well, then stop talking shit about my KD. All right, so this topic of discussion was inspired by a tweet that I got, and this guy was like, hey, how do I ask this girl out without making it awkward? Should I get to know her first? And it just made me think of the time where I fucked it up with one of the most beautiful girls that I've ever talked to, and it was all because I rushed it. And that's the thing. You cannot rush into relationships or anything if you want it to be successful. All right, you got to take your time with it, get to know the person better, and then ask them out. So I was a sophomore and this girl was a freshman, and her name was Alexa, and this girl was so beautiful. I remember walking in the classroom and I was just like, all right, I hate this fucking class, but if she's in here, it's gonna be a great year. Like, that is how I felt about this girl. So I was too much of a bitch to go up to her and ask her for her number, so I got one of my friends to get it. Actually, it was this girl, her name was Caitlin, and she was one of my really good friends, and I was like, hey, do you know Alexa? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, give me your number. So Caitlin gave me Alexa's number, and then I started texting her. I was like, hey, I'm in your Spanish class. One thing led to another. We're texting all day. And, she's like, hey, you're really cute and all that. And here's the thing. If you want to get to know a person a lot better, you should probably talk to them in person when you have the opportunity. I had the opportunity to talk to Alexa every single day, and I never did. And we started talking in person more after we texted a little bit more. So we're texting, and then, after a week of texting, we finally start talking in class, and she would come up to me and sit on my desk. Before class started, we would talk a little bit, and then never really hung out once, never talked on the phone, and we were just texting and talking in person before class started, which was like 5 minutes of talking in person, not enough. So one day I'm thinking, all right, here's the thing. I felt like I had to ask this girl out so fast before anybody else did, because her level of just beauty, and it was just unreal. I was like, I have to get this girl before anybody else does. So rushing into it, not thinking about it, I come into class one day. We've been talking for like 2 weeks. We haven't even hung out yet. Like, this is just such a bad idea. I come into class, I'm sitting next to my friend Joe. I'm like, Joe, I'm gonna ask Lex out after class. He's like, yeah, do it, make a move. And I was like, yes, I'm pumped. So the bell rings, class is over, Alexa walks out the door, and I come up behind her. I'm like, Alexa, wait. We're standing outside the classroom now, and I was like, I gotta talk to you for a second. She's like, what's up? And I said this word for word, and I just start talking out of my ass, and it's like one of my biggest regrets, because this could have been something if I just waited. But I was like, all right, so I know we don't know each other that well, but will you go out with me? And I was like, before you say anything, we can get to know each other while we're dating. And she was just giving me this unsure, confused look, like, what the fuck? And then I was like, being the idiot that I am, I was so nervous, and then her facial expression, that I repeated exactly what I just said as if I didn't say it before, or like she didn't hear me. So I was like, all right, I know we don't know each other, but we can get to know each other while we date. And her facial expression turned into like, all right, this is not, no. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, okay, well, you can think about it, get back to me. And she was just like, Jordan, I don't think it's gonna work out. You're rushing into this. And I think girls not only mature faster physically, but mentally too, because she was definitely right. I was rushing into it, and I kind of fucked that up. And so we didn't really talk after that. She said no, she walked away, and I was just like, damn. And the class was really awkward. So my advice to you, man, is wait. All right, wait to ask her out and get to know that girl. All right, I'm out here till next time. Peace.